Adolf Hitler's Rise to Power, Part 2 lesson. So I didn't want to overwhelm you with the first lesson. I feel like I really did cover a lot of the bases, general understandings. What you guys got to realize is when you're studying history, history is not so much about the facts as it is about the understandings. So if you're taking any history test, the key thing is know your understandings. That's the key thing. So anyways, I have my trusty Hitler book here from my bookshelf. I've actually had this book for 15 years. It's a really fascinating book. If you need to learn anything about Nazi Germany or Hitler, I highly recommend that you do get this book. It's by Albert Marin. He's a little-known historian, very good writer. This book's very informative. So anyways, with that being said, I wanted to tell you, continuing from my last lesson, what is basically going on here. I didn't want to overwhelm you before. So the German people, to recap, were looking for a savior. They had been beaten down throughout the 20s. They had been beaten down the end of World War I. There was so much political and economic upheaval in Germany. And the German people, once again, because they still didn't know what happened at the end of World War I. They don't know why they lost. They're confused. Now they're in the Depression. They're looking for somebody to save the German nation. Hitler writes the Mein Kampf. He has a blueprint for the future, for what he's going to do to rescue Germany, restore it to its greatness. He plays on the German people's insecurities at the time, talking about their racial superiority and how they're better than everybody else because of their racial heritage, in terms of the Aryan master race and how, they're going to basically take over the world and they're entitled to the whole world and all of its resources. And what happened was basically you had a situation where Hitler was gaining a lot of political traction in the polls. And the Weimar Republic was a democracy, so Hitler wasn't banned from running. So in the year 1932, Germany had an election, and the Nazis got 14 million votes. Now, it wasn't a solid majority, but it was substantial, and they actually won 230 seats in the German Reichstag, which is like the German parliament or Congress at the time. So the Nazis were becoming a party to be reckoned with, only second to the German Conservative Party, who was led by Paul von Hindenburg. Now, Hindenburg was an older, respected general from World War I. He had actually fought the Russians on the Eastern Front. He was very well respected. And he obviously, because he was from the old school Prussian lineage of military commanders and generals, he did not like Hitler's racial ideology. He didn't like Hitler's extremist views. He might have been a German nationalist, but he was certainly no racialist, and he abhorred Hitler's extremism. But Paul von Hindenburg was very advanced in age, and he was president by de facto, basically. I'm in an entrenched conservative German party. The Conservative Party was a large party. He was respected. So he was automatically going to garner more votes in the 1932 election than Hitler. Problem is, Hindenburg's getting old. He's in his 80s. And he's in advanced ages now. And he's not really as healthy as he used to be or as vibrant. 1933 rolls around. And Hitler sets up, before another election that was being called, a fire at the Reichstag, the German parliament. And now historians do know that it was a hatchet job, it was an inside job. Hitler orchestrated the whole thing, it was an act of terrorism. But Hitler immediately blamed the Jews for the Reichstag fire. They burned down the German parliament. Once again, they are engaging in insubordination and subversion against the German state. As a result of this, what happened was, in this second election that was called, Hitler won by a landslide. landslide. And now Hindenburg, now that the Nazis had 17 million votes this time, Hindenburg could not ignore the Nazis anymore as a political force to be reckoned with. He made Hitler his chancellor, the second most powerful position in German politics. Hitler took advantage of this position. He started taking power and consolidating it within his own Nazi Party officials within the government. And in 1935, Paul von Hindenburg dies. Hitler immediately fills the void and becomes de facto dictator leader of Germany. And that, therein, explains the rise of Hitler. And I hope this helps.